get an A without doing the main exam. You can even get an A without doing the main exam. Without doing the main exam. The main exam.
The ultimate dream of every university student is to end up with one grand achievement, a degree. And the journey towards earning a degree is nerve-wracking. It extracts all the attention, it tests the dedication, and the grind is real. In some cases, a degree is a sweating affair. But when the degree finally comes, it's one of the most outstanding moments in life. Unfortunately, this demanding journey is taken advantage of. What you are about to hear is heartbreaking. This is Rita, not her real name. Rita is a student from one of the Kenyan public universities. She is one of the many young scholars in pursuit of a degree.
I'm doing business administration. According to me, I'm in school so that I can get a degree at the end and maybe go for masters later. It really means a lot to me for me to get that degree. I know I'll achieve so many things through getting that degree. And if I don't get it, I think I'll have a miserable life. We had done our cut, so when the time came for him to return the papers, the CAT's papers, he told the class rep that each and every person should go for his or her own paper at his office. So my turn came, I went to the office. It was around 12. But when I was about to leave, he told me that I should go back at around 4, 5. So I went back at 4 to continue, because he had told me to go back. So I went. After I entered, I saw him going to lock the door, and I asked him, why are you locking the door? So relax, I don't want other disturbance from other students. I innocently accepted and I sat down. So he told me, then now tell me whatever you are telling me at 1. I told him, I'm requesting for me to redo the cut since I filled it. He told me, no, you can't redo it because everyone wants to redo the cut and not every student should pass. And I told him, now I requested, I think I was among the first students who requested for me to redo the cut. He said, no, you can't redo the cut, and now you should leave because I can't allow every student to redo the cut. I left the room and went to my room because the classes were over. So at around 8, 9, 7, I think 8:30, a new number called my phone. I hesitated, took the number. So he called again. I received it. It was a male voice. So when I asked him who it was, he told me that he was the lecturer, and we were with him at around 4. So at first I was surprised, how comes he has my number? Lecturers don't have students' numbers. Then I remembered, in our cards we usually write the phone numbers beside, after writing the registration and the names. He told me that, young girl, that you can even get an A without doing the main exam. You don't have to do the exam to pass or to get a good grade. Then I told him, what should I do then to get that grade without doing the main exam? And he told me, you are a lady, you know what you should do.
Well, I think that sex shouldn't be given for exchange for anything.
And the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear about sex for grades is, it's just bad. Like, it's literally like a corrupt lecturer. It's literally like bribing the lecturer, you see. Yeah, that's it. It's just plain bad.
Started touching me in a sexy manner, and I stood up, went open. When I tried opening the door, it was locked, and he sarcastically laughed at me and told me, no, you have no option. You know what to do if you want to get the grade. I refused and dared to scream.
I think search for grades is absolutely unprofessional when it comes to lecturers demanding for search for grades and also students asking for it. I think that education should basically just be based on merits, academic merits, nothing else.
For me, I think search for grades is unacceptable first.
Sex for grades is a horrible thing, and I don't think anyone should consider it.
First of all, it's an immoral thing.
I find it evil because there's no way I would want an older person to think of me sexually, and I'm nearly their daughter's age. For me to give you sex for good grades, it's not even worth it for me.
To me, that is not a good thing for students, because a student who scored a good grade from high school and come to do school, he must work hard.
If people ever get to know that you achieved what you achieved based on sex, I think it will really be unprofessional on your side.
For lecturers who demand for sex from students for good grades, I would urge them to just put their heads in the game, because they're here to impact and give us as students knowledge. So that is what should be their sole mission here.
The lecturers themselves, morally, they should look at themselves and see that what they're doing to the students, it's like they're doing it to their daughters.
The main reason they're there is to make sure the students get good grades, and they should give them advice and ways of helping them getting good grades instead of asking them for sex. It's just a horrible thing, and they should be punished.
Once you're found guilty of such a thing, your career should just come to a stop. I mean, find other things to do, because why would you want to ruin someone of the age of your daughter? That's their life. When you're doing that, you should be having a picture of your daughter in your head.
He was afraid that some security or the other students could hear out. So he opened the door for me. I went. I never went for his classes again.
When things turn out this way, psychological support is one of the things to consider.
First and foremost, let me start by actually admitting that it happens. And I've had cases whereby a student comes and confides with me that a certain lecturer is trying to harass me, and actually told me that if I don't go to bed with them, of course that means have sex with them, I'm not going to perform well in their exam. Yeah, like one of the last cases that I handled in another university was a male student who came and told me that he needed counseling. It was really a case of abuse to the vulnerable, because the young man was very vulnerable. He feared that he's gonna fail, and he feared that he had to just follow what this lady lecturer said. A relationship which is outside of therapy, yeah, should not happen with your client until, I think, 5 years after therapy. So if that is the case, then I find it very unethical that a lecturer would actually decide to have a relationship outside of the student lecturer relationship that is supposed to be. But different universities have different clauses that protect the student. A student is supposed to be protected, a lecturer is also supposed to be protected. The mental well-being that will follow after one has engaged into such a relationship is what is likely to make somebody to have some form of a psychological instability. Even for a lecturer, the thought as a professor here that I would want to get something from a student by itself is immoral.
I think students need advice on why they shouldn't engage on sex for grades, and they should be given other alternatives on how to get good grades, like working hard, like given advice and counseling.
How do we examine? Like for example in Kenya, it's like it's become you either pass or perish. Yeah, get a good grade or perish. What is that telling you? That what we are examining as a system, and not USIU, it's cutting across universities and colleges. We are examining just how well can one sit and do an exam. Maybe it's time that we changed our mode of examination.
Sexual violence in any language is sexual violence. It doesn't matter the context, it doesn't matter the victim, and there are many victims out there. Rita is only but one of them. Would you stand up and do something about it? Sex for grades is degrading. If you agree, let's join together and do something about it. Use the hashtag #NoSexForGrades. Tell a friend to tell a friend.